Teacher has a head, driver has a head, assistant has a head, neighbor has a head, the dog has
Hello.
a head, the fish has a head, giraffe has a head.
Don't know if you can hear this, but this is some of the new Sudden Infant album, Lunatic Asylum, that I released on Fourth Dimension. This appeared only last week, actually, and this is Sudden Infant in their trio setting. It's quite a muscular sound, and typically it draws from founding member Joe Clancy's Dada elements, we can say. So whether he's working solo or in a collaborative setting or with this group, the group setting, you know, there's always this kind of streak of Dadaism there, this sort of absurdist streak coursing through his work, which I find very effective. But mostly, I think there might be one or two albums that I've got that where perhaps it's not so effective, but certainly in this kind of rock format, you know, in this rock guise, it works really, really well. There's a really nice juxtaposition between the rock elements, which are kind of punkish, I guess, for want of a better description, quite beefy, and muscular sounding as well. There's a fluidity there as well. It's really good. There's 14 tracks on the CD, so there's 2 additional songs that won't appear on the vinyl version. I'll just turn this down, actually. So there are two additional songs here that won't be on the vinyl version. The vinyl version is typically stuck at the plant at the moment, and so I've got the disc playing actually from this copy, but that's what it looks like anyway. Yeah, the vinyl version won't be ready until probably July, I think, is what the latest word was on that. So we won't see copies of that until July at the earliest, I think. Like all vinyl, you know, because of a number of factors. I'm always very quick to blame Record Store Day. That is one of the main factors, and it relates to the second main one, and that's supply problems as well. So, and yes, obviously, Record Store Day is a very big affair, and certain artists sort of usurp proceedings and dominate everything, and they have bigger runs than a lot of people who operate small labels. So we're always pushed to the back of the queue, you know, and I'm definitely there at the back of the queue. I've been waiting for 2 Kleishvar albums since last spring, so we're up to a year now, and also the Edward Caspell 10-inch as well. So waiting for those. I've also got a Nick Mott LP at the plant, at a different plant. That won't be ready. Well, all of them. I think test pressings for Kleishvar won't be ready until I was promised March, but well, we're into April now. We're halfway through April. I still haven't seen any test pressings. So don't know why I'm smiling about it. It's really annoying. It's not through any particular person's fault either. The Kleishvar and Caspell releases have all gone through my good friend Steve Pittis of Dirty Promotions. Certainly nothing to do with him. It's been really difficult for him as well. Not only you know, doing releases for me, but releases for many other people, and indeed his own releases. So we're all in the same boat. I think there's a Cut Hands album that's waiting, that's snagged as well, for much the same reason. So, you know, we'll see these things when they happen. That's all I can say. I know it's very frustrating for everybody who keeps asking me about these, but it's doubly frustrating for me. I've also got to contend with people that have pre-ordered these records. Anyway, so Sudden Infant, to go back to that, is likewise snagged as a different plant. Joke handled the vinyl side of the album and took it to a different plant, and again we're in their hands. But in the meantime, there's the CD. I keep saying it, but I strongly believe in this format still. I think it's a really good format. And like I said, this only arrived last week, and I've been sending copies out since. I've still got to send Cargo and Force Exposure their copies. They want a couple of hundred, so that's really good. And I've been dealing with direct orders up until Easter kicked in, and also some personal, private issues related to the health of my family. So, I've got a wife and 6-month-old daughter in hospital at the moment. We all had COVID, and even now, I was the first one to contract COVID this time. It's the second time my wife and I have had it, but my voice is still not 100%. I'm still coughing as well. So, generally, when I'm working, when I'm teaching English, if I do several lessons, I start sounding like I've been on 40 cigarettes a day for the best part of my life. So, and I'm not really a smoker. Well, I've never been a smoker. Beyond the old, Jamaican dalliance, let's say, and even that's very, very occasional. Once or twice a year at the most these days. But anyway, yeah, I'll stop brandishing this. This is the latest release. This will still be a bit loud, so I'll just. That's definitely loud. Let's turn it down. I just thought I'd embellish the upload this time with some actual music related to the main thrust of the upload, which is promoting this really. And I'm not going to apologise, for using this channel just simply to promote my books and releases, because as I've reiterated countless times before, there really isn't anybody else I can depend on. Yeah, I've got a few people that will always review anything I send. There's Vital Weekly, run by Frans de Waard in the Netherlands. He will always review everything. How many people actually pay attention to any of those reviews, I don't know. There was a quietus review of the last Kleistvar CD, In the Guts of a Year. That was published a couple of months ago. Record Collector have reviewed the Grim Humour book and a couple of other things. The alternative TV. I think they did Scars on Sunday or Primitive Emotions, one of those CDs, or maybe even both. But it's very rare that I get any reviews anywhere. I send copies of my releases out to, and indeed some of the books as well, to various people. And I still really, because of my own background, I still really like fanzines. Not that there are many left now, but I'm happy to still send copies out to Compulsion Online, for example, and obviously Vital Weekly is essentially an online thing as well. It does its weekly mail out, but it's an online source. Fear and Loathing, a couple of others. So yeah, a couple of radio shows as well. So I keep my hand in with all of that. But due to the usual nature of things related to more low key, let's say low key publications, whether they're online or otherwise, it's very sporadic. It can take months and months before a review bubbles up at any one of these places. So I'm not putting any pressure on anybody here either, because I'm exactly the same. I still write about music occasionally, and it can take months for me to get to get to some of the review material sent here. Excuse me. There we go. So yeah, I'm in no position to criticise anybody for not reviewing anything immediately. Absolutely not. So, but yeah, as I said, it's really down to me and my own promotional efforts. Really, I've got many people on the mailing list, and I do these uploads just to shamelessly plug away at anything I'm doing. Really. I know some people find it pretty abhorrent to do this, but yeah, I've got nothing else. And to be honest, I think since I started doing these uploads, whenever it was last year, late last year, things seem to have picked up. And maybe this album's a good case in point, because again, it's only arrived last week. By the time all the orders have been dealt with and everything else, and the distributor copies have gone out, I think I will only have 30, 40 copies left. The Gary Mundy and Eraldo Bonocci, and again, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, Bonocci. Anyway, the Broken Masses CD by Gary Mundy and Eraldo, that came out a month or so ago, and it sold out from me. There are still copies available, probably from places like Soundome in Italy, and Old Europa Cafe, Drone Records in Germany. I think they've got a couple or a few copies. Cold Spring in the UK. A few places like this, have copies still. Cargo may not even have gone out on that yet, but I guess they're about to, and that means certain retailers that deal with cargo and forced exposure in America will have copies in due course. So any retailers dealing with them might still have copies, but my own copies have gone. The same with the compilation double CD, and Oblique Reference to Zeros that came out in January. Late January, I think it was. I've got 10 copies left. It's a really good compilation as well. Double CD, mostly exclusive tracks. I've promoted it on this channel a couple of times now, but I've only got 10 copies left. And maybe here's a good place for me to say, take advantage of the 7 CD deal, which can get you the Sun Infant CD, the upcoming Voidfill CD, and 3 back catalogue CDs of your own choice. Obviously, you can't get the Gary Mundy and Eraldo CD now, but yeah, it's a really good deal, I think. If I saw it as a punter, I would be quite impressed with it. 7 CDs for £30 plus £8 shipping for the whole lot. And anybody who's already taken advantage of that, of which there are quite a number of people who've done this, can extend this. If they're interested in an upcoming CD, I've got a final CD. Justin Broadrick has agreed to an album for me. Probably will push it back until September, but yeah, I've got an album coming by his solo project. Also a Splinter double CD. But anybody interested in, for example, any new album any CD album as it is announced can just extend their you know, they can extend the deal. That's probably the best way of putting it. They can extend the deal just by simply sending I think another £8. Yeah, and as I said, the final album will be announced fairly soon. Excuse me. I've also got a Jolt Chorez CD or double CD coming. Excuse me, and there'll be a Splinter double CD coming in September or October as well. We're just kind of finishing tracks at the moment. Takes a long time, you know, and you know, we don't just churn stuff out. So, not criticising those that do apparently do that or seem to do that. There are certain artists I can think of who seem to have albums coming out almost every month, but that isn't how we operate. So yeah, we've all got other commitments as well, so it's not easy to get everybody working together on one thing at any one time, you know. So, but anyway, there's a Splinter double CD, there's a Jolt Chorez double CD coming, and there's a final CD coming at some point. Don't know what else I've got planned. That is probably it for now. But Void Fill will be next month, I think. Again, like everything, it's running behind schedule. I've done 3 releases so far this year, 3 CD releases, including the double one, and yeah, it's inevitable that things are going to run behind. The vinyl I've spoken about. I've also got the second Grim Humour book at the printer at the moment, and we'll hopefully see samples of that in another week or two, the week after next. Once they've been checked, we'll proceed with the main run. So again, it's running behind schedule, but we had the Tales from the Ghost Town book, Alan Ryder's book, dedicated to Coventry post-punk fanzines, punk, post-punk, early industrial, whatever, you know, electronic music fanzines from between the years 1979 until 1985. That book has also appeared this year, and the hardback sold out a long time ago. Alan might still have a couple of copies, so it's worth asking him. By all means, message me through Facebook or whatever, or email me and ask for his email address if you're interested in one of the hardbacks. But I do think he's got 2 or 3 copies left, and he's also got soft covers, another batch of soft covers coming in a couple of weeks, I think. So yeah, so I've been pretty occupied with that, and it's probably one of my faults, really. I do take on more than I can really do, really, at any one time. So I seem to overlook the fact it's only me generally doing this. And of course, I've got people around me that help with various things, like Sean Organ does my mastering. Audio mastering. I've got Puppy 38 in Austria doing design work for me. I think we'll get him more involved as well. That's my plan, to try and get him more involved with design work and artwork assembly for some of the releases. And Martin Barsky is another person that helps me as well. So I've got people in the wings, you know, that help me with things. My good friend Mark Stevens in Moscow does proofreading for me. But you know, when it comes to my own written work, my own material, he does the proofreading very kindly off his own back as well. Well, the same as I get really good rates from Puppy 38 and Sean does me a good deal as well. So yeah, But yeah, I've got a few people. What's my point? My point is I've got a few people that help me. But essentially, it's me, organising everything that appears on the label, managing everything, so to speak, and the books as well. So, I do sometimes probably bite off more than I can chew at any one time, but I get there in the end. Get there in the end. So just bear with me, or if you're that pissed off about waiting, just write and tell me you're pissed off, and I'll send a refund if you pre-ordered anything. So it's that simple. Or use your money for something else from the labels or from my Discogs page or whatever. So I'm very flexible, and I'm also pretty approachable as well. So I'm not going to snap at anybody that's fed up with waiting for anything. And I fully appreciate how frustrating it can be as well. So, but anyway, yeah, Grim Humour, the second Grim Humour book is on its way. Still got copies of the first one here. There is a little pile over there. We are typically pointing in the wrong direction. Well, there, that's better. Yeah. It's difficult when you're looking at the camera, and so anyway, so there's a part of the first Grim Humour book still there, and I've still got copies of the first adventures, the only Adventures in Reality compendium of Alan Ryder's there as well. So if you're interested in those, order one. Help the cause. So and again, sorry for the shameless salesman routine. Again, there's nobody else doing this for me, so I will, as I've said before, I will expand on this at some point. I'd like to do more interviews, really, like I did last month with Alan Ryder, of Adventures in Reality. I would like to do a few other things here. My wife has very often suggested I should review stuff here, but I'm not sure if this is the place. I prefer writing when it comes to review material. Really, writing's my main thing anyway, but I've always really liked it. Strange as it may seem, I do get a lot of satisfaction from writing. And talking of books, staying with books, I'm still working very hard on the Mark Perry alternative TV one at the moment. Excuse me, I need something. It's not wine, it's just aqua. The wine will come later, maybe. So sorry about that. Mark Perry. The Mark Perry book is still being worked on, and I imagine I'm pretty much on target for having some definite news related to that in the late summer, hopefully. So if all goes according to plan and the way things are going so far, I generally do a weekly interview with Mark, and then I transcribe it, so I've got all the raw material there, and so it's very different to the Ramley book. And I started the work on the Mark Perry. Started work on the Mark Perry book in October last year, I think. But we've pretty much done a weekly interview since then. And certainly this year we've been doing weekly interviews. I then transcribed them, so I've got all that raw material which I'll have to shape up at some point. And there's plenty of little notes that I need to add as well. and due to this, I think I'll have most of the raw material for the book ready by June. I think we need to have 3 or 4 more, maybe 5 more of these conversations. So June, mid-June maybe, and then I can start editing and shaping everything up. So that's the plan. There is also another book being mooted by Alan Ryder, funny enough, that's going to be dedicated to uh, Gary Livermore of Third Mind Records. I always had this idea of reprinting the Tone Death fanzines, of which there were only 2. But Gary Livermore was a very important person, something of a mentor for me back in the early days, back in the 80s when we'd all be hanging around our friend Kerry's record shop in Herne Bay. Gary, there was all these misfits and punks and whatever all hanging around there. And it wasn't Kerry's shop, but my friend Kerry actually worked there and would very often give us discount on all the records we wanted as well. So I think that's probably where most of my residence collection came from, because Kerry always actively encouraged all of us with the residents. And probably Cabaret Voltaire as well. But anyway, so stuff a little away from my interest in more regular kind of punk or post-punk music. So the slippery slope definitely started there. But Gary Livermore was one of the regulars in those days, and of course he had Third Mind up and running shortly after doing Tone Death with another local guy, actually 2 locals, Chris Brownett and Vince. I can't remember his surname. Oh, that's embarrassing. But there were 3 people involved with Tone Death, and then I think Chris may have even had a hand in Third Mind at the very beginning with Gary, but Gary then took it on, and Gary then later set up Fourth Dimension Records. He only did 1 release, and then, well, he did 2 releases because he helped me with a flexi disc for Grim Humour, and then I thought, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing this as well. So Gary kind of gave up on the Fourth Dimension, and I said, this is a really good name. It's very evocative and suggestive of lots of things beyond. So I really like that name, and obviously it resonated, and I just thought, yeah, I couldn't think of another name for a label, so I just took on Fourth Dimension from Gary. But yeah, he was an important. It is still a friend and a very important person for me back in the day, and we'll do a book. Well, Alan's doing a book, and we'll publish it through. I don't know if Alan wants to co-publish this again. I don't know, but it's being mooted for Fourth Dimension, and probably it'll include the reprints of the Tone Death fanzines as well. Maybe as an add-on, a bonus for people that directly order the book on Gary and Third Mind Records. So we've got that happening as well. Sorry, Franz. I know Franz Davard wanted to do a Third Mind or Tone Death book on Corm, on his started out as a record label, Corm Plastics, but now what is it, Corm Publishing? I know friends wanted to do this, but yeah, sorry, we got there. I'm not that sorry. So it's the nature of the beast. So yeah, plenty of other things happening, and maybe next month I'll have some, in relation to Alan Ryder, I'll have some information regarding the Mummies and Madmen album that I want to reissue as well. It won't be happening on vinyl now, it just can't. It's logistic nightmare. So just doesn't make sense. I do have some other excuse me, God almighty, fuck me, it's bloody awful. What did I want to say? Yeah, I've got some other ideas for vinyl releases in the wings at the moment. A couple of other things happening, including an album by Blue Statue, this London-based, excuse me, post-punk inspired guitar-based group from London. So I've got a Blue Statue album. I'd like to do it on vinyl. We'll see. And there's another Kleistvar double LP reissue being mooted. There's even a Ramley reissue being mooted of the excellent Circular Time album as well. But I probably shouldn't really be saying anything right now. But that's enough really on the vinyl front. And I think that's probably it. Maybe just to round things off. This is really going on for a long time, but just to round things off, I am plugging away at the Adverse Effect website. I do want to do another physical copy of Adverse Effect as well at some point. If you want anything reviewed, or if you run a label, or if you're an artist and you want anything reviewed, you know where our interests lie. You only have to look at the website. It will be linked below. We only review physical formats. Sorry, but I absolutely hate downloads and streams. So tough shit. If that's anybody who generally sends me links to any of these kind of things, mostly gets ignored. Now and again, I might respond to a demo, an unsolicited demo submission. I don't usually listen to any of them because I've got enough music on physical formats here, to listen to. Plenty of stuff in the review box here as well. Huge pile of stuff there, but I am getting to some of that. And yeah, there might be, as I said, a physical Adverse Effect at some point in the near future. In the meantime, we're uploading. I'm uploading more reviews by Steve Pescott and myself. I'm also interested in anybody coming on board, and if you want to write for Adverse Effect, there's no money in it, but you can get some material sent to you to review. And then if you don't like it, you sell it like we do. So that's what we do. So it's another reason why I prefer physical formats. I'm going to be honest here. I'm not going to spend time writing about stuff for nothing. I either want something to keep and put in the collection, or I'll sell it for a few quid and it can help the labels out. So can't do that with a download or a stream. And frankly, I hate most of the culture surrounding all of that nonsense. So there we are. And again, if you're interested in sending anything, you know where our interests are. No indie, no metal, none of that dull as dishwater music. I can't stand metal in all of its forms. I very often joke about disliking drones and textures music as well, but you can try your luck with that. We are open despite whatever I say. I do listen to some of that stuff sometimes, but I also listen to Sudden Infant and Miles Davis and Herbie Hancock. So there's loads of my tastes are broad. So I think I need to stop rambling. This has really gone on for a long time. So I'm really sorry about that. It's Easter, Easter Sunday right now. So it's a long weekend for everybody, I think, watching this, or for most people watching this. So I hope you're enjoying that. And I'll be back here again soon. Maybe with a shorter upload. So thanks a lot, and see you here again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.